station that's on your side. This is News 12, first at 5.
Well, after a day of heavy rain, driving through flooded roads and strong winds, it is now time to clean things up.
But first, we are checking in with First Alert Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale. And Riley, what a difference a day makes. It is a beautiful day out there.
Absolutely, guys. Gorgeous conditions out there today, and we are expecting nice weather to really stick around for the rest of the weekend and even most of next week. So thankfully, we got rid of the worst weather day yesterday. We got a lot of nice weather to look forward to as we do head into the holiday weekend. Here's a current look at post-tropical Idalia now. This has now moved off the North Carolina coastline. Still has a very fast pace to it, east at about 25 miles an hour. Post-tropical is starting to lose its tropical characteristics. It's starting to interact with an upper-level trough and just turn a little different dynamically. But luckily, we are dry out there this afternoon, looking to be nice and quiet for the rest of this evening into tonight. Finally calming down those winds across the area. Not real much of a gust out there whatsoever. And thankfully, no more watches or warnings, and looking to stay nice and dry through this evening into tonight. Heading into our Friday, we're going to wake up comfortably. We're most likely going to see temperatures early tomorrow morning in the mid-60s, and then afternoon highs tomorrow should stay back into the low to mid-80s. So not too bad out there as we do head into tomorrow. Here's a look at other high temperatures across the board Friday. A few spots could struggle to make it out of the upper 70s, but I'd imagine for us here locally, we do at least hit the 80s tomorrow. Much more on the weekend forecast in just a bit. Let's get a quick update on your First Alert traffic.
And now, First Alert traffic.
All right, folks, take a look down I-20 and Riverwatch Parkway. You can see traffic moving okay on the interstate. Riverwatch Parkway just kind of congested, not too unusual for this time of day, but a beautiful afternoon overhead. Blue sky with a few just passing cumulus clouds. Update on that weekend for you in just about 10 minutes.
All right, thank you, Riley. Remnants from Idalia heading off the coast of North Carolina as we speak, just like Riley was showing us. But again, a different story yesterday with those strong wind gusts and rain all across the two-state. In Valdosta, neighbors caught the moment a tree fell in front of a home. There you saw it. In Goose Creek, South Carolina, someone saw a car just flip right in front of them after a tornado. Crazy stuff there, right in the low country.
Yeah, that video is crazy on social media. And as cleanup efforts continue in Florida, some people in Punta Gorda took efforts a little more lightheartedly. They decided to pull out the tubes and float in that storm water. Don't know if that's a good idea because a lot of that can contain a lot of sewage. So you really want to stay out of that storm water when things like this happen. But meanwhile, in Hillsborough, crews were clearing down trees and debris. A similar story here across the CSRA as well.
It is a 3-day search. Meanwhile, for a drowning victim at Lake Thurmond is over, and that didn't help yesterday, of course, with Idalia here.
Yeah, South Carolina DNR telling us this afternoon they found the body of a white male. Divers spent all day Tuesday searching before the storm put a pause on the search yesterday. Our Hallie Turner is live at 5 from the lake. And Hallie, we know details are very limited, but what do we know right now about the search?
Yeah, Will, Meredith, I've been out here at the lake since about 10:30 this morning. Once I reached Hall Creek Campground, South Carolina DNR was here on scene with trucks, boats, sonar equipment, and the victim's family. As you can imagine, it was very emotional and quiet as they waited for any sign of their loved one. Those who have campers around the lake tell me it's a pretty close-knit community and everyone knows everything, but they did not know about this. But are taking it as a warning to be careful as they approach Labor Day weekend. Close to noon, a DNR officer told me a body had been located by the dive team and Coroner Faith Puckett was on scene. Coroner Puckett told me it was the man they were searching for and confirmed his cause of death to be drowning. And even though some family members were here this morning, Puckett says at the time she could not release any further information at all until the next of kin has been notified. Coming up all new tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we'll have the full timeline from South Carolina DNR.
All right, thanks for that update there, Hallie. And we're hoping families stay safe as we move closer to the holiday week. And of course, we hate to see things like this happen.
At least some closure, though, for that family tonight. New in just the last hour, one person is dead after multiple stabbings at the Fulton County Jail. The sheriff's office says several other people are also hurt. It's still not clear, though, how serious those injuries are.
It comes just days after another man also died inside the jail. That man had written a 12-page letter pleading for help 4 days before he died. Samuel Lawrence sent a letter to the federal courthouse in Atlanta asking for help with how he was being treated inside the jail. In his letter, he pleads for someone to come check on him and claims he was being hurt. Now, the letter was stamped by Fulton County officials on August 22nd, and Samuel was found unresponsive in his cell August 26th. His parents say they are still trying to process this loss.
Only thing I know is I got a son that I'll never see again. When he went in there, he was okay. He knew what he did, knew what he was going for, but why he had to come out in the body bag?
Samuel's death marks the 8th custody death at the Fulton County Jail since January, and it's the 25th in custody death since 2019.
Some state and local leaders say South Carolina dodged a bullet from the impacts Idalia could have had.
Yeah, Mary Green spoke with the state's emergency management director and has the details from Lexington County.
On Wednesday afternoon, state officials said they were anticipating there'd be as many as 200,000 power outages across South Carolina from the storm. A day later, they say that peak in reality was closer to around 40,000 outages. And by Thursday afternoon, just a few thousand homes across the state were still left without power.
And that's a big indicator in terms of damages and what happens, the total number of power outages. So there wasn't that many, and they're getting repaired very quickly.
SCEMD Director Kim Stenson says it's hard to estimate how widespread power outages will be because they can't always predict where exactly a storm will move. The day after, he says counties are assessing damages, especially along the coast and in the PD, and the Department of Transportation continues to clear roads and check for road damages as well. On Thursday morning, President Joe Biden issued an emergency declaration for South Carolina, which allows FEMA to provide assistance to counties if needed. FEMA says it applies to all 46 of the state's counties, though the harder hit counties, the ones in red, are eligible to receive more.
As for emergency protective measures, and two big areas would be sheltering and also EOC, Emergency Operations Center operations. So that'll help out with that. Although right now we're not seeing a lot of expense with this storm. Again, relatively unscathed in terms of the broad look at it.
Here at South Carolina's Emergency Operations Center, this is where they've been coordinating the state's emergency efforts. They've been staffed around the clock before, during, and after Idalia's arrival, but by Thursday afternoon, that was winding down, and they were returning to normal operations. Reporting Lexington County, I'm Mary Green.
SCEMD says anyone with property damage should begin recovery and cleanup as soon as possible. But they say before making repairs, property owners and renters should file a claim with their insurance companies.
Well, coming up, the journey to recovery is starting after Idalia leaves homes and communities damaged. That's coming up next, Riley.
And we are looking forward to probably the nicest weekend we have seen in several months. We'll take a look at some cooler mornings and temperatures staying below average in that full forecast next.
Ask about Wrdw.
All right, welcome back. Taking a live look outside I-20 in Grovetown. A gorgeous afternoon for us. Much better today than standing outside getting blasted in the face by rain.
I know, I felt bad because I was standing here in the studio tossing to you, and you were standing there getting totally
It's okay.
wet.
It was worth it. It's worth it. But I know a lot of other people had a lot of unfortunate accidents happen with trees and stuff, so the situation could be much worse. But we're just happy to see that sunshine back out, Riley.
Absolutely, guys. Beautiful weather in store for the rest of the week, and even most of next week looking to stay pretty dry for us. So finally, we're able to get some baseball in. A live look at SRP Park. They do have a doubleheader tonight to kind of make up for the last couple of rainy days out there, and they actually just started game one. So first pitch was at 5:05. You can see right now we're in the top of the first. 88 degrees. Beautiful baseball weather right now. Dew points in the mid-60s, so luckily less humidity out there, and that humidity will continue to drop as we do head into our holiday weekend. Now remember, it's a doubleheader tonight, so if you're missing game one, you can still make game two. We should see temperatures stay near 80 degrees at least through around 7 o'clock, and then as we head towards later this evening, early tonight, should be falling down to the low 70s before midnight. Now late tonight and early tomorrow morning, should be seeing the 60s, and then we're going to see a really nice evening tomorrow for our under the lights forecast. Friday evening, those high school football games kick off around 7:30. We should be in the mid-70s around that time frame, and then towards halftime we'll fall into the 60s, believe it or not. So looking like we're going to beat that week 1 forecast we had. That was really nice, even nicer out there tomorrow. Here's a look at our rain totals from Idalia. This is where we did see some really high rain totals across the area. In southern Screven County, Newington got close to 7.5 inches. Bamberg over 6, Allendale over 6, Barnwell and up in Blackville in northern Barnwell County, that was close to 6 inches too. And Waynesboro, you're at about 5.5. The closer you got to the I-20 corridor, we saw anywhere between 2 to 3, a little bit less up towards Clarksville Lake in the western CSRA. So a very sharp cutoff for who saw that really intense rainfall and who just saw kind of manageable, steady rain most of the day. But did see a number of flood reports, had a few trees down, and luckily this system is now moving off the coast, and it's actually turned post-tropical. So these tropical systems are what we call a warm core low. It's transitioned to a cold core low now. It's kind of interacted with our jet stream away from us. Now, low temps tonight going to feel pretty good. We should be dropping into the mid-60s. This is going to be felt early tomorrow morning. High temperatures Friday remaining below average, hitting the low and mid-80s, and we should see partly cloudy skies during the day, so not too bad out there. Saturday morning, a little bit cooler, low 60s by Saturday, and the weekend is just going to be fantastic for us. We're going to see temperatures potentially even in the upper 50s waking up early Sunday, and then later next week, those temperatures do gradually just tick up a couple more degrees. But for us here in Augusta, Saturday, high of 83, Sunday, high of 85, generally sunny skies, no rain in our forecast, and we will enjoy some of those cooler mornings. Now, if you are heading to Athens this weekend, we got the first game for the Dogs taking on UT Martin. Right now in Athens, they're currently at 83, but by this weekend, if you're going to be tailgating, afternoon temps most likely close to 80. As we get to that 6 p.m. kickoff up in Athens, we'll be falling into the upper 70s, but beautiful weather for game 1 there in Sanford Stadium. Looking ahead past the weekend for our holiday Monday, we are going to see sunshine, a little bit hotter temps in the upper 80s. Then we do get the 90s back later next week.
All right, thanks, Riley. Idalia now downgraded to a post-tropical storm after cutting a deadly path through Florida Wednesday. The storm, it just continued to thrash communities up the East Coast, into Georgia too, the Carolinas, really overnight and into early this morning.
Yeah, and we saw that. And as the system makes its way out to sea now, people are waking to find some communities forever changed.
Tropical Storm Idalia tearing a path across the southeast. It was quite a storm. It was a bad one. Pummeling Georgia and the Carolinas with high winds, torrential rain, and flash flooding Wednesday night into Thursday morning. After slamming Florida's Big Bend Wednesday as a Category 3 hurricane.
These are all little old-school Florida villas, and they were just picked up and carried into the Gulf.
Downing trees, tearing roofs off buildings, and flooding homes as the sea surged onto shore, leaving entire communities underwater.
Crystal River was decimated. We had 8 feet of storm surge come inside of City Hall.
The damage likely changing some of those communities forever.
There are some communities that may never look the same, and others that will get rebuilt that will look slightly different. And so, look, this is a life-changing event.
Some residents left shaken.
Pretty rough. We never seen anything like it before.
And heartbroken.
And it hurt because I raised my kids up in this trailer.
As the storm moves offshore, the extent of the damage can be assessed, and the journey to recovery can begin.
I was really sad, I mean, I'm trying not to get emotional, but, this is a beautiful town. The people are wonderful, and I hate seeing my people go through something like this.
Yeah, and like she said, you hate to see people go through things like that. We're lucky here that we didn't see quite that amount of damage there.
Yeah, and these storms, these communities, some of them have been hit before, so this is something that they've had to deal with before.
And you don't even get to fully recover from things like this until the other one hits a year later. So
yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy to see all the damage that these storms can do. Take
really
them seriously.
Yeah, for sure. Hospitals across the country are supposed to post their prices online. But next, see what our national investigative team found when they went searching. When you hear about Title IX, it's mostly about sports and making sure that men and women have the same opportunities. But Title IX covers a lot more than that, including sexual assault. And that's what this investigation is about.
She said your son was a victim of sexual assault. That is what she said to me.
A Butler High School student went to his guidance counselor and reported that he was sexually assaulted. He said it happened in the bathroom at school, and there was even a video of it making the rounds at school. This is where Title IX is supposed to come in. It's a federal law, and the school is supposed to follow certain steps when a student reports a sexual assault. And from what we can tell from our investigation, the school did not. We did reach out to the school, and they refused to answer our questions, but they did release a statement. You do need to see it for yourself, though. Make sure you watch our story. It's available right now.
Partner of the Atlanta Braves.
More hospitals are following a 2-year-old federal law to put their prices online. But our national investigative team discovered it's still difficult for some consumers to navigate many of these websites.
Finding a price for a procedure isn't just a click away. Consumer investigator Rachel DePompa speaks with experts about the price you pay and what's being done to make it more transparent.
Shopping around for a new car? Easy. Same for finding the cost of a new home or a plane ticket for a trip. And it's supposed to be that way if you need the cost of a hip replacement, a CT scan, or MRI.
Hey, once you go to the hospital, say, oh, we got you, we're going to take care of you. They hit you with that bill. Boom. That's too much money.
Medical bills are no longer supposed to be a surprise. We're now 2.5 years into a federal rule that requires hospitals to post their prices online. So you know the cost of a procedure before you have it. But is the hospital price transparency rule working for consumers?
Oh, I wish I had known how much this was going to cost, because I wouldn't have gone to Stitches, or I would have gone to urgent care.
Have not tried to access that, was not aware of it, but that is good to know.
Every hospital in the U.S. is required to provide clear, accessible price information online in 2 ways. They must post a comprehensive machine-readable file listing prices and services, and display a consumer-friendly version.
We tried to find the prices at 74 of the nation's largest hospitals. We were able to get to the price calculator for about 77% of those hospitals, but finding the actual cost estimates for procedures wasn't always easy. The cost estimator tools, they're not always on the home page, and often it takes several clicks of a mouse or opening several tabs just to find anything. There is a search bar at the top of most hospital websites, but just typing in something like hip replacement price often leads to no results. You have to know to type in a key phrase like hospital price transparency to get to the list of prices where you can find out the cost of your procedure. Sometimes the price calculators are buried at the bottom of the home page, and you need to add in personal information like your name, date of birth, and insurance to find the price. Sometimes sites let you search without insurance.
It would take Dog the Bounty Hunter to find out where on their website they posted it. You've got to click here, and then click there, and click there, and click there, and then you get there, and it's written in a foreign language.
CMS wouldn't do interviews, but told us in a statement it's committed to ensuring consumers have the information they need to make fully informed decisions regarding their health care. We expect hospitals to comply with hospital price transparency requirements. Molly Smith is with the American Hospital Association, which lobbies to lawmakers on behalf of hospitals across the country. Smith says we're still in the early stages of figuring out how to make this work, but adds last year CMS found about 70% of hospitals were fully compliant with the rule.
The more familiar everybody becomes with these rules, both hospitals and patients, that they will be increasingly easier to find.
Experts suggest asking your doctor for the billing code on a procedure and calling your insurance company to try to get an accurate price. If you can't find the cost of a procedure on a website, you can also look up the contact information for the hospital's finance office and give them a call. For Investigate TV, I'm Rachel DePompa.
CMS is now updating its rule to streamline how hospitals post price data. It's also considering naming hospitals that are not complying on its website before penalties are assessed. If these changes are solidified, hospitals would have until March 1st of 2024 to comply. Riley?
Well, we got a lot of sunshine in store the next couple of days, so great lake weather if you're heading up to Clarks Hill. Lake temps currently around 85, but those should cool off a couple of degrees as we do see temperatures to stay below that number through the weekend. And thankfully, good news for our latest sunshade winner. Congratulations to Becky Craven from Deering, Georgia. To get your own Plunkett Heating and Air sunshade, just go to wrdw.com, click on contest, and you can enter your email right there. Now look at the forecast just after the break.
Davis, Appliance and Furniture.
Welcome back. A live look from our Beach Island camera, and we have one of my favorite weather words happening right now, crepuscular rays. So those are shining through, some partly cloudy skies out there. Beautiful look from our Beach Island camera. Currently in the upper 80s, so staying a little bit below average. Right now, this time of year, our high temps average around 90, low temps in the upper 60s, so we should stay below both of those numbers all the way through the weekend. If you have evening plans, we got the Green Jackets in town. They got a doubleheader going on tonight. Temps will be falling into the 70s pretty quickly past sunset, and then overnight tonight you should be feeling the 60s heading out to the bus stop. I imagine most of our area schools are back in session tomorrow if they did have one of those weather delays again today, but heading out to the bus stop, mid 60s, heading home from school, low 80s, should be picture perfect out there for us for a Friday. And then into the weekend, it only gets better. We're going to get some cooler mornings down near 60 Saturday and Sunday. Could even see a few spots see the 50s early Sunday.
All right, thanks, Riley. Make sure you stick with us. We have much more news, weather, and sports coming up after a short break as News 12 Live at 5 continues.